but this new Rodecaster II Pro is absolutely
bananas. I'm doing all this
with the Rodecaster Pro II. Okay, look, so I normally don't do reviews, unboxing, or any of that stuff. I leave that to the pros. Me, I'm just a podcast guy. My podcast is the Barardo Podcast, and I talk about health, wellness, social interaction. I interview people from all different walks of life and experts from various fields. Shameless plug. But I have to tell you about this new Rodecaster Pro II. I've been a Rodecaster guy for a couple years. It's the only way I've done my podcast. You know, it was pretty much the first of its kind. And now you have like Zoom and some other companies that are doing similar products, which I'm sure are just as good. And maybe the functionality is pretty similar. I don't know. I haven't used those before. But I will tell you this, Rodecaster Pro, this guy, is incredible. I've used it for a couple years. I paired this up actually with Ecamm Live, which is a Mac-only production software, kind of like OBS or StreamYard, but on steroids. It's a really great program. Again, Ecamm Live, I'll leave the link below. But what's cool about Ecamm is if you have a Rodecaster or anything similar, you know, you can link it up and really kind of create your own custom production studio. If you notice here on YouTube, I'm throwing up my social. I could take that away. I can link it up to my Stream Deck and I could turn off my lights. I could do so many things with Ecamm. And then what's great about it is it records it locally. So when you get done recording it, you're done. It's already edited. And then boom, it's got your mics laid out along with your video. You don't have to throw it into Premiere or Final Cut and edit it if you don't want to. Of course you can to make touch-ups, but it's pretty much done. Ecamm is like the go-to. But now I have the new Rodecaster Pro II, and I mainly got it because I wanted to stay up to date, and I saw a lot of great reviews. You know, and again, I'm not the expert on this. If you want to check out a really cool video, you could check out Tom Buck. He's a great creator that I've learned a lot from, specifically with Rodecaster, but he does all types of gear, and plus he's very entertaining as well, so check him out. I'll leave his page down below as well. This new Rodecaster II Pro is absolutely
bananas. And yes, I'm doing all this
with the Rodecaster Pro II. Crazy. And that's obviously just me being a nerd, having the some really cool tools. You can use these smart pads that I'm using for a lot of different stuff. They're so much more customizable than the original one to where it's actually on the screen. Do all types of fun stuff through their new app called Rode Central, which they had something before for the original Rodecaster Pro, but it was nothing compared to this. Unbelievable, where you can customize not just each individual mic, but you can move things around on your display. So if you just want, you know, 2 mics, if you don't have more than 2 people in the studio, you can customize that so that way you're not wasting a lot of space. And don't get me wrong, you know, there's a lot of other great stuff out there. I mean, I have a Zoom H6 that I use for like portable podcasts if I end up doing that because it's much more smaller, and you can also have 4 guests. But like in studio, when I'm in studio, whether I have people here or not, this is the way to go. It's a little pricey, of course, but if you think about it from like a production standpoint, it literally has everything you need, not just for a podcast, but if you want to record music. And, you know, personally, I'm not big into a lot of different things besides the podcast, but I would imagine from a production standpoint, this thing would probably cost, if you just had everything that's included, it would probably cost you a few $1,000s. So to me, it's a great investment. You know, there's a couple key features in here, but for me, a podcaster, the gain and the preamps are huge, because if you typically have a podcast, you're going to have maybe like a cloud lifter or something like that. You don't need it with this. And you could look at their website for some other stuff. I'll leave their website here. But again, like I said, it comes with 4 high quality audio inputs for connecting microphones or even instruments. And it's also got 9 individual assignable channels with 6 broadcast quality physical faders and 3 virtual faders. So again, that's where I was saying where you can customize everything. It's got studio grade AFX audio processing. So that'll take care of your noise gate and everything else that you need to increase your audio and make sure it's perfect. It's got dual USB-C interfaces for connecting 2 computers or a mobile device. So Tom Buck and some other creators have some great videos on how to utilize that, but that's a really cool tool that it didn't have before. It has the multi-track like it did in the previous version, along with a micro SD card and USB storage that you can hook up to your computer. Same thing as the other models. It's got 4 high power headphone outputs, and I could tell you whatever they did, they definitely increased the quality of it, because even me just hearing myself now, it sounds more authentic to what this actually is. You know, sometimes when you record something, it sounds better maybe on the laptop than it did when you're actually recording it. Well, it sounds perfect right now. And then I checked and it comes through just as perfect in post-production. The touchscreen, that's brand new. 5.5 inches. It's a high definition touchscreen with haptic feedback and just has really easy navigation control. If you've never used something like it before, you're going to love this thing. But again, for me, this thing is just epic. It's a great way if you do live stream, if you do Twitch, if you do podcasting, if you thought about starting a podcast. I always say, like, my first episode of my first podcast, which is still out on YouTube, it's horrible. But I used a phone and the voice memo app. That's what I used. And that was it. And it was horrible. Since then, I've invested slowly into doing this. I've been doing a podcast for about 3 years now. I'm at 161, 162 episodes. So I wouldn't recommend, getting this tomorrow if you haven't started a podcast before. Make sure you're going to stick to having a podcast because it is a big investment, but man, it is worth it. Same thing with cameras, right? You don't want to get a brand new digital camera if you've never filmed anything before. But for this in particular, if you've been podcasting for a while or you've been streaming for a while, this is the way to go. It is just absolutely incredible. I am floored with this. And then of course, they're going to have a bunch of cool accessories that are going to come out. I already got the clear cover that's going to protect it from dust when you're not using it. Also on the back, it's got an area where I think they're going to maybe come out with a stand for it. But just in general, I see this thing going incredibly well over the years. Rode, keep up the good work. Thank you again for coming out with this. It is going to change the podcasting game. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I really do. Leave your comments below. Have you gotten the Rodecaster Pro? Let me know. What do you think? What's better, the original, the OG, or this new guy? If you haven't already listened to the podcast as well, the Barado podcast, it's out on all platforms. You can even check it out here on my YouTube channel. I'll leave the links also in the description below. But thanks again for watching, and hope you guys enjoy this. Peace.